Real Estate Rewired.
Welcome to Real Estate Rewired AI with a Heart with Gus Waite, where we discuss all things AI and real estate. And today I am super excited because my guest has been in commercial real estate for 30 years and she has receipts, more than $700 million in closed commercial investments in Vegas, a brokerage she built from the ground up, a book, a speaking career that takes her around the world, and now the COO seat at a tech company called TradeZ. Galit Ventura-Rozen does not wait for permission. She started her first company at 21. She wrote The Successful Woman's Mindset because she had earned the right to do so. And she spent the better part of 3 decades mentoring other women in business to do the same without apology. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. And men. I also have mentored men.
Okay, I love it. Well, I'm always about giving and getting, so I'm sure I'm going to get a lot out of this.
No problem.
So first of all, I always like to start with the origin story. So, most people when they were 12 weren't like, hey, I want to be a commercial real estate broker.
No.
So how did this winding road get you to this place?
Well, when I was just about done with my first degree, my bachelor's in business management, my father actually said to me, you got to get your license. You got to get your license. I'm like, leave me alone. I'm in college. I'm in a sorority. I'm having a good time. Finally, I said, okay, I'll get my license. And I got my real estate license. And he said to me, nobody will manage my property better than you because you'll care about where the spending goes. And it was a great opportunity for me because I graduated college. I got my license. I went and got my feet wet working for other people because you always want to do that first. And I touched on residential. It was too emotional for me. I really didn't like that side of it. I'm just a business person, even though I barely knew it at that age, right? I was 22, 23. And I went and I interned for a commercial real estate group for 6 months for free. And I really loved it because it was business. It was about the numbers. It was about what could I get in a return? It wasn't emotional. And I don't know, I just liked it a lot more than the color of the carpet is not correct and I can't buy this house. So at that time, I went ahead and started managing right after that, my dad's first property. And I just had my first child. I was 24 years old and it was a great opportunity for me to kind of learn about the field and then also be able to stay at home and work from home because it was management. And from there, I just really saw an opportunity. I saw an opportunity to have my own company and to not have to be told what I could or couldn't do.
And were you one of the first women in that space? And what was that experience like?
So I wasn't one of the first women in the space. The good news is that there were women in the space. They just weren't my age. So at that time, it was very rare for women to go straight from college to the career of commercial real estate.
Right.
What was more common was it was a second career in your 40s. So I was probably one of the younger women, but I was very fortunate already to have a few women in the industry in Las Vegas. I got involved in the Commercial Real Estate Women's Organization, which is international, and that was a great support system for me as well. But I think I was one of the first to open her own company in commercial real estate. There was maybe 2 or 3 of us at the time.
And how important were those relationships early, Galit, in terms of having, women who had been in the business 20 years longer than you, mentor you, teach you, support you? Real estate's a tough gig, up and down. How important was that at that time?
So in all honesty, I didn't have a mentor. I was one of those people that kind of learned through trial and error. I've gotten a lot better at that because now I know don't reinvent the wheel, just make it your own and add some bling. And I learned that from my father, which really was my first mentor. So if you ask me who my mentor was, I would tell you it was probably my father because he came to America from a different country, both my parents, with nothing and built up one of the largest manufacturers of kitchen cabinets in the United States in Los Angeles and sold it for a lot of money. And then he became a general contractor and started building. I think I learned through observation, if I'm really honest with you. I learned from watching, learned still till today. If you want to teach me something, show me how to do it. Don't tell me how to do it. So I think watching a very strong figure in my life that really believed I could be and do whatever I wanted to do, then I started searching out coaches and people that were where I wanted to be.
Got it. And so what has changed since you first got into it, and what hasn't changed about the business?
So the first thing that's changed is, at least in Las Vegas, and I can only speak about Vegas because I don't know other markets, it was very, very expected to wear the suits and the pantyhose and the heels. That's one of the reasons why I didn't want to work for somebody else. And it's 100 degrees here today, okay?
Yeah.
So no. I think the first thing that changed was it became a little more lax in the idea of what the ideal commercial real estate agent is.
Mhm.
I definitely think that became. I also think the other thing that changed is the idea of finding a client and them only wanting to work with you because you're with one of the top 5 commercial real estate companies in the United States. I believe that's changed. Some of the things that I don't think have changed as much, and it's just part of life. In my 20s and now I'm 53, I still sometimes get called dear. I'm
Mm.
sending out $100 million project and I'm getting an email back that says, "Dear, could you please?" And
Mm.
luckily I could care less about that, but I still think that I think it's definitely still a field where it's anticipated that you're buying a property for millions of dollars from a man. But I'm going to share with you over and over again, it's never stopped me. I'm one of those people that I'm capable of, once I start speaking to you and you recognize how much expertise, experience, and not just in selling the properties. I myself am an investor and I own properties and I build properties. And so it's not just I'm trying to sell you something from a sheet. I understand how much it costs to lease it, to sell it. I understand how much it costs to build it. I understand how much it costs to keep it. So I have just so much experience being in this industry for 30 years and watching all of this.
And so that idea of really going narrow and deep,
Yes.
right? Pick that
Yes.
one niche, become an expert. And, we're talking Vegas, we're talking commercial. And what are some of the traits or the characteristics that you think a really great commercial broker has? Like, what qualities do they need to have?
You have to be self-motivated, 100%. No one cares if you wake up in the morning and go to work. Nobody cares. I could stay home for a straight week and my employees or agents will eventually message me and be like, "Hey, Galit, are you good? You show up, you make money. You don't show up, you don't." So you definitely have to be self-motivated, a self-starter. You need to be a leader because even if you don't have employees, you don't have agents, and you're your own agent, you've got to be the one that's the leader with your clients, with the subcontractors or with the other vendors or with the title company leader. You've also got to be good with being part of a team because to be really successful, you've got to have a successful team. You can't do everything yourself. So you've got to be really good with understanding how to be a team player. Even if it's with your client and their team of 6, right? Because a lot of times these large companies have somebody specific in the company that handles something different. So I really think that's it. You've got to love numbers, which is kind of a funny story because I don't have a natural ability to remember numbers. Some of us are good at it, some of us aren't. I don't typically remember how much I sold a property 4 or 5 years ago. It's just the way my brain works.
Mhm.
But you've still got to really like numbers. You've got to understand that you could sell a property from one piece of paper. And you've got
Mm.
to understand the numbers you're going to be putting on that piece of paper. So you really want to do the work and do the learning so you understand what is that client going to be looking for and what is going to benefit their bottom line the most.
Got it. And so there's 2 different ways I can go here. One of them is first of all, how many people are on your team?
So my team has 5 people on it. There's 5 of us, but that's agents, but it doesn't include like VAs and vendors and third party companies. So I have a full-time website designer, a full-time social media manager, a full-time assistant, right? So it doesn't include them. So around 8.
And so where I'm interested now with AI, like we'll pivot to there, but I do want to come back to the successful woman's mindset. Remind me if I forget, because I really want to deep into that a little bit.
Okay, no problem.
But with the AI, the way that I'm seeing it, and this is, where I come at it, is its goal is to allow you to do more of what you love and less of what you don't. And every day we wake up and we do 100 things, right? We have 100 tasks, and some of those I love and some of those I really don't. AI can do some of them, but should it do it? It can do 90% of some, but then there still needs to be a human in the loop. So what is your process for identifying workflows, identifying job descriptions, and identifying which of those tasks should be automated using AI?
So first of all the things you just mentioned, I create from AI.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
I create our SOPs, I create all of those things that you mentioned from AI because it helps me gather my thoughts. So one of my
Mm-hmm.
favorite things about AI, and I've been using it since the day it came out, I use it all every day, is that I can speak to it like it's a person. And I don't know how many people do that, but that's how I do it. So a lot of people overthink the prompts and I just give it a lot of details like I'm speaking to somebody. I actually do voice to text on
Mm-hmm.
AI. I don't type it. And then I'll even say, ask questions for clarity. Because I found that when it asks me questions, it's even getting a little deeper and it's not making a lot of assumptions. So that's the first thing. The second thing regarding the question that you asked is I really use it as a way to expand my thoughts. So, for example, today I wanted to make a Facebook post this morning. I was working out right before I got on with you, and I wanted to make a motivational Facebook post. And I wrote my Facebook post first, and then I copy and pasted it into AI. So that's kind of how I like to use it. Now,
Mm-hmm.
the use it or not use it, I don't have a don't use it. I have a use it as much as you want, but be cautious with facts. Be cautious with the information it's giving you. I don't typically ask it to give me information that I'm going to be using. I might ask it to research information and then check that data because I'm still nervous that it could be wrong and I'm just copying and pasting it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
probably using it more to expand my thoughts, expand my writing, expand my processes and procedures and things like that.
Got it. And how do you educate yourself? I mean, there's so much,
Yeah.
every new models, new this, 4.7 Opus, 4.0. So how do what's your process for staying educated, informed without being overwhelmed?
So believe it or not, I'm using social media to inform me because it follows my algorithm and it knows I'm really interested in AI and what I can use it better for. So one of my favorite things is actually Instagram because there's so much stuff on there about prompts and there's so much stuff about their breaking down which AIs can do each thing the best, right? And then I give that to my assistant and I say, now research and tell me if this is true. What is the best? So I have a publishing company that publishes books for women. And so I recently said, what is the best AI out there to edit books for us? Right. So now she's checking these things for me. So I like checks and balances. Everything that AI creates is being checked by a human. If it's either me or if it's my assistant or if it's another expert. So I love the checks and balances involved in it, but I will tell you it has sped up so many things for me when I come up with ideas for programs, when I want to write website content, and again, I'm taking my ideas. I'm not saying, which by the way, there's nothing wrong with this. Come up with an idea for.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, this is my idea. Let's go.
Mm.
So that's how I'm using it. And then regarding which ones I'm using, I'm still pretty simplified when it comes to AI, in all honesty. I was really a chat GBT girl only. And then now I'm using Claude and I'm
Yeah.
obsessed with Claude. But I'm really still at the simple stages of not understanding or knowing every single AI and I'm still learning.
Got it.
Yeah.
Now, so within the Claude framework, right? So then you have the projects, you have co-work, you have the app that you can download onto your desk, you have the version that's in the web, you have skills, you
Yes.
have lots of different areas. So what's your process for choosing one? And so let me rephrase it. This someone used this for me recently, Galit, and I love this. They called it remember, forget, I remember I have this. Oh, I forgot I have this.
Okay.
Then it's fail and succeed. Oh, I used Claude. It did this really cool thing, but then I tried to do something else and it didn't do it. And maybe
Okay.
you step away at that point. But it's really implementation and mastery to
Yes.
get to the point where you're using it every day and you've
Yes.
had enough success with it that
Yes.
if you do hit a wall, there's enough reason to try to figure out, well, what the hell's the difference between co-work and a project? Has that
Yeah.
been your experience?
So I'm always been honest with you since we first spoke.
Yeah,
I'm not really the tech person in my
got
companies.
it.
But I love the projects because it
Mhm.
remembers and I'm starting to train it. I
Right.
also love feeding it a lot of prompts. So I will actually start with this is our idea. I just did this.
Mhm.
Okay. I just came up with one of my coaches just helped me come up with a new idea, a concept for publishing books for my publishing books company. And you can use this for anything, for real estate. And we have this idea. It's called 30 Days to Published. And within 20 minutes, I had the SOPs, the welcome letters, the marketing
Yeah,
emails, the social media. I had the website content. And this was all done by just sharing the concept. And I created the concept. AI did not, right?
right.
I created the concept because I understand the program and I was blown away. And then again, I read every single thing. And by the way, I'm changing things. Not everything's exactly like I wanted. I still think it needs that human touch. I don't appreciate when people copy and paste something from AI and don't read it and send it to me because it's still not your brain and you
Well,
need to use your brain.
100%.
Yeah.
Galit, here's the thing, and this is something that I did for myself and that I've been doing for other people. You're gonna love this.
Okay.
Oh, as you know, every business is a reflection of the owner's operating system, their beliefs, their values, their purpose, right? Like, that's how we operate in the world. And so what I ended up doing is I do these 2-hour interviews with people
Okay.
where they give me their story, how they got into the business, what are your values, what's your purpose, who's your ideal client profile, who do you love to work with, what are their 7 biggest pain points, what words do you love, what words would you never use, and literally create the second brain. And then when
Absolutely.
you interview your second brain as if you were your ideal client and you say, wait a minute, this doesn't sound like me or this does sound like me. Once that source code is created, then what you're talking about, all the content gets fed through the source code. I want to write a LinkedIn post. I want to do this.
Absolutely.
Now it sounds like me. And this is where we get this beautiful melding of utilizing the technology, but from your soul, as it were.
Completely. Yeah, you're building the AI to understand exactly what it is that you need. It makes complete sense to me. Look, I don't know how any of it works. And honestly, I think
Right.
I'm okay if I don't.
Yes.
Because my brain is not techie and mechanical like that. But what I know is it's saving not just me a ton of time, but also my team. And a lot of people are saying, there's Claw out there, right? And that can build systems and all of those things and AI agents and all of those things. I'm not that sophisticated. My business partner handles all of that
Hmm.
and she's building all those systems. But I will tell you that I still believe humans are needed. And people have this fear, and I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but people have this fear we're going to be replaced. And I don't believe that's true because AI needs to be led by humans.
Mm,
That's just my thought, but we won't go that rabbit hole. I just know that it is allowing me to take thought idea to implementation so much faster. And the kind of person I am, I have 4 businesses, is I need to teach my team. And a lot of these prompts and stuff I'm creating and these projects for them because they just aren't me. But now guess
mhm.
what? I'm giving them a system that's helping them be like me. And I mean that in the kindest way, but they don't understand my idea. They're
Right.
trying. But now I've given them a tool that understands my idea that will benefit their work.
Got it. And is there any resistance from the team?
No,
Have they all bought in? None at all.
I don't have that. We've been using AI since the day it came out and they love it because it makes
Mhm.
their job easier. I haven't had anybody resist it. My dad is 70, going to be 76, and he doesn't understand what I'm doing. I'm like, oh, wait, let me put it into AI. He goes, oh my gosh, that letter sounds so good. How did you
Right.
do that in 3 seconds? And I'm like, Dad, don't
Right.
worry about it. It's done. So I think that's fine, but I have not had any resistance because I have the right team members. Open minds, right? Open minds.
Absolutely. Well, that's a great segue to the successful woman's mindset. Tell me a little bit about where the idea came from, why you put it together, and what are its highlights?
So I wrote this book in 2017, believe it or not. And my second book is actually done and it'll be published in the next few months called The $1 Million Mindset, which is kind of like a next step from my first book. And the reason it started was because I was asked to speak at a National Association Women of Business Owners event. And I like to talk to the people that hire me and really understand what they want their audience to have. And somehow I came up with that topic, the successful woman's mindset. You know how that goes. Ideas. That's why you still need humans. And I spoke about it at that event. And up to 6 months later, people were still coming up to me, thanking me for what I taught them. And I basically taught them in that event 8 characteristics of the successful woman's mindset. And then the book became 21 characteristics. That's really what it is. And what I was teaching in that book was, at the end of the day, I can teach you how to be successful all day long. But if you don't have the mindset to believe you can be successful and follow those tools, man, woman, doesn't matter, you never will be. And that's really the honest truth. And what people don't like to hear is you are the number one reason why you are not where you want to be. Okay. The how, you can find it easier
Mhm.
than ever today. I don't know how to do a lot of things, a ton of things. But guess what? I go find out either someone that knows how and I pay
Mhm.
them because they deserve to get paid for that, or I find it online and I learn and I make sure that the information's right. So the successful woman's mindset really came from a place of having so many years of teaching myself so many things and understanding that the person I am today at 53 is not the person I was at 23. I'm a completely different person. When I first started my first company, I was HR, I was marketing, I was the broker, I was the agent, I was the property manager. And I had to learn that there was no way I could know everything and there was no way I could do everything if I wanted to get where I wanted to go. And I'm one of those people that wants to learn for the rest of my life. And I want to keep moving up for the rest of my life.
Love that. And what are you working on these days? What's got any
So
big projects in the hopper?
Well, first and foremost, commercial real estate, because it is a real estate podcast. I'm very excited because last year we did $60 million in projects. Because aside from being a commercial real estate broker and agent where I represent people, I also have a family business where we work together to find properties and rezone them and then the highest and best use and then build on them and then either keep the property or sell it. So that's been keeping me really busy. We're geared to do about 100 million this year, which is so cool. We're in Nevada and we're also in Colorado so far, but we're looking to expand into other states like Utah and Arizona because we're on the West Coast. So it's where we like to be. And that's really keeping me busy. The other things that are keeping me busy, as you mentioned, Trade Z, it's TradeZee. It's a company we're literally launching in the next week that does AI-based stock information. And it has the most amazing tools. And again, I'm not the techie person. I'm really involved in the operations and the marketing. And it's also a family business. My brother started it and I'm part owner. So it's really fun to kind of just build. I love building things from scratch. That's why I love construction. That's why I love projects that we're building. That's why I love AI. And then the other business I mentioned briefly, is Everyday Woman Publishing, where we help women publish books and not just publish books they've written, but also we have a 30-day system to write your own book. So these are some of the things that I like to do that are really fun. And the reason I can do all this and still sleep 7 hours a night and have a life, I do have a life, is because I build beautiful teams that support me in my visions.
Wow, what a great vision. I do want to just touch a little bit, listen to the news. What is
Yes.
going on in Vegas these days?
Related
In
to
term
real estate?
Yeah, related to real estate, related to we're hearing, the less visitors and there's challenges and
So there's
not
no less
true.
visitors in Vegas.
Okay, got
If
it.
you guys want to see less visitors, that's sarcasm. Come in today for EDC.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Holy moly. I think we get over 100,000 people. So I think that sometimes social media and people that share things on social media become viral that are not accurate. And
Got it.
it's kind of like AI. Do your homework and do your research. I am one that loves concerts and I visit the Las Vegas Strip often because that's where I'm going to see them. And I can't find a parking space and I don't love driving there. So I don't know that that's true. Now, if you want factual information, Google it, look on the news and get your data. I do think that in some shape or form, Vegas got a little expensive. And people are realizing that here, and that's okay because then there'll be adjustments. Regarding the economy, we have an issue here with land because such a large part of our land is owned by the Bureau of Land Management, and they only do certain amount of releases. So the reason that we started exploring other states was because the cost of land here is going to be upwards of $1 million an acre. And again, I don't know other markets, so I can only tell you about Vegas. But when you're going to start building on that land, it just doesn't pencil out. So we do have 2 projects here right now. We would like many more, but it has to make sense. So economy wise, I do know that the residential market finally started turning a little for the buyer, which is a good thing because we had so many people coming from California buying cash for homes that the people that live here can't afford to buy homes. So we needed it to turn a little where the buyers are starting to be able to actually buy homes. But I'm going to tell you, I've lived in Las Vegas since 1986, and this city has been so good to me and my family. I've raised 3 children here, and I've worked in this industry for 30 years, and I still think it's a great city to move to, and it's a great city to have a business and work in.
Galit, I love that. We're gonna end it on that note. That is fantastic. Obviously, a huge fan. Raised your family there. Watched your dad build multiple businesses. Jumped in. You're having fun. You got a great team. You're using AI. You're empowering women. You're making it happen there in Vegas, and it was an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. I'm going to talk to you for a minute afterwards.
Absolutely.
How do people get in touch with you?
You can find me all over social under my full name, which is down at the bottom if you're watching. If you're listening, it's Galit Ventura-Rozen, and it'll be, I'm sure, in the bio. Just find me all over. I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere except for X and under my full name. And then if you want to learn more about me, GalitVenturaRozen.com.
Thank you so much. And I want to thank everybody for watching. And remember that the only reason to use AI is to do more of what you love and less of what you don't. Thanks for watching. If you've got value from today's episode, hit subscribe, leave a comment. I'd love to know what you're thinking. If you're ready to turn what you love into your superpower and take what you hate off your plate, schedule your free AI discovery call. The link is in the description and pinned comment. I'm Gus Waite. Until next time.